You use it every day and never give it a second thought. And yet, this humble little wire has a fake inventor behind it, a place in the fight against the Nazis, and a monument that shows the wrong paperclip entirely. Let's go back to the second half of the 19th century. Offices around the world are starting to drown in paper. Typewriters, printing presses, a growing tide of bureaucracy. There are more documents every day, and very few good ways to hold them together. People used straight pins, sewing needles, even ribbons to bind their pages. The trouble? Pins punched holes into paper, they rusted, and they pricked your fingers. Anyone who worked with documents was quietly dreaming of something better. In 1867, an American named Samuel Fay patented the first clip made of bent wire. But his invention was meant mostly for pinning tickets to fabric, not for fastening pages. Over the next 30 years, more than 20 different clip designs appeared, each one trying to solve the same problem in its own slightly different way. And then, sometime in the 1870s, in Britain, the paperclip you know finally arrived. A double loop made from a single piece of wire. Elegant, simple, and quietly brilliant. A firm called De Gem Manufacturing Company began producing it and gave the shape its name. To this day, in many countries, that shape is simply called a gem. And here's the surprising part. Nobody knows exactly who designed the gem clip. There's no patent, no inventor, no date. This object, used today by billions of people, just appeared on the market one day, as if it had invented itself. In 1899, an American named William Middlebrook patented a machine for making paperclips. Not the clip itself, just a device that bent the wire into that distinctive shape. Thanks to that machine, gem clips became dirt cheap and found their way into every office in the world. And now, we reach the biggest twist in the whole story. Ask any Norwegian who invented the paperclip. They'll answer without hesitation. Johan Vaaler. Vaaler was a Norwegian engineer and inventor. In the year 1900, he filed a patent in Germany for a paperclip made of bent wire. A year later, he secured an American patent too. Norwegians are deeply proud of him. There's just one problem. Vaaler's clip was not the gem clip. His design didn't have that signature double loop. It was less springy, it held pages worse, and it never went into mass production. The gem clip had already existed for at least 20 years before Vaaler ever filed his patent. So where did the myth come from? The answer leads us into one of the darkest chapters of the 20th century. The year is 1940. Germany has occupied Norway. The Nazi authorities ban national symbols. No flags, no royal monograms, nothing. In the autumn of 1940, students at the University of Oslo have an idea. They start wearing paperclips on their lapels. The clip becomes a quiet symbol of solidarity. It says, "We are together. We hold together," just like sheets of paper bound by a single wire. Nazis caught on quickly. Wearing a paperclip was banned. People were stopped on the streets over a small piece of wire on their coat. But the harder the Germans tried to crush it, the more powerful the clip became as a symbol of quiet, everyday resistance. After the war, Norway was looking for heroes. And someone remembered Johan Vaaler, the Norwegian who had supposedly invented the paperclip. The truth about the Gem Manufacturing Company didn't fit this beautiful story, so it was simply ignored. In 1989, a monument went up outside the campus of the BI Business School in Sandvika. A 7-meter steel paperclip, a symbol of Norwegian ingenuity. There's just one small detail. The monument shows a gem clip. The British one, the one with no patent. Not Vaaler's design at all. Apparently nobody noticed the difference. But the story of the paperclip isn't only war end myth. This unassuming piece of wire runs through all of pop culture. In 1997, Microsoft introduced Clippy, an animated paperclip meant to help people using Office. Clippy became one of the most hated characters in the history of software. His pushy little question, asking whether it looked like you were writing a letter and offering to help, drove people up the wall. Microsoft finally shut him down in 2017, but by then Clippy had already become a legend of internet memes. And in 2005, a Canadian named Kyle MacDonald started Wife a single red paperclip. Through a chain of 14 trades, from a clip to a pen, a doorknob, a generator, even a role in a film, he worked his way up to an actual house. One paperclip for a house. It sounds like a fairy tale, but it really happened. Today, the world produces around 20 billion paperclips a year, and that's just in the United States alone. Most of them never hold any paper at all. They become bookmarks, lockpicks, hooks, tools for resetting your phone, and in offices, mostly toys to fidget with during boring meetings. So the next time you pick up a paperclip, take a closer look. This little piece of wire wife, 3 simple bends, the one that doesn't even have an official inventor, became a symbol of resistance, the hero of myths, and one of the most perfect designs in history. Subscribe so you don't miss the next story of an everyday object. Because the best inventions are the ones so simple they seem obvious. And the paperclip? The paperclip is proof that genius lives in simplicity.